Okay, tell Roland to bring me on. Roland tried bringing John in during the...
We got Johnny Rotten coming into the studio.
Let's see it.
All right, what am I doing here?
What are you doing here? You're talking to us. God damn it. How are you, sir? Do you remember us? Oh, I remember that guy.
Yes.
He was with you last time.
Manager.
What's up, John? You probably don't like being called John.
It's too early in the morning.
No, it's not.
Oh, you're in a contradictory mood. That's not going to help you.
I remember Johnny Rod from last time. How are you, buddy? Is it really too early for you?
No.
Okay, good.
Just got a bit of an head cold, so
Okay.
you know, you hear me sniffling and blow me schnozzle on the Union Jack. Being okay.
What are you taking for the cold?
Sudafed.
Nice. That shit works. It's good stuff.
Right.
Are you happy with the book?
Yes, I am. I like my book.
Good.
I like all my books.
Okay. Well, just asking. Just trying to get to know you a little bit.
I just read something that was amazed me. I didn't know where to start, but that you were actually booked to fly on Pan Am Lockerbie.
Yeah, Lockerbie flight, yeah.
And when we talked to a guy who was Seth MacFarlane was booked on one of the 9/11 flights, and when you see something like that happen where you absolutely would have died, does it change the way you kind of carry on life after that? Like you've kind of seen the moment of your own death and you made it through.
Well, I almost died when I was 7 with meningitis, so that would be like kind of twice unlucky or lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it changes your mind about what terrorism is or is not.
And the only reason you guys didn't make the flight because your wife...
Because my wife, like just slow poke with the luggage, you know. So thank God I've never moaned at her for being late, not ever since. Right.
Were you mad that day, though? Like, hurry up, what are you doing?
Yeah, I knew we'd never get to the airport, so we went back to bed and never bothered to tell anyone we weren't on the flight. And they all presumed we were dead.
How did you find out what happened? Just woke up and you get a call?
My
or?
brother finally thought, like, because there was no list of passengers available for people ringing in, he rung home. And I answered the phone, he told us what went down. Nice, huh?
No kidding.
But how does that affect you? Like, do you automatically feel grateful or...
I feel damn angry that your life could be taken away over somebody else's political intent or religious subdiffusion. Mm-hmm. Really did. I feel contempt for that, yeah. And
meningitis, I know you got when you were a kid. Was that what you... I think you said you got it, you think environmentally, because you said you were out in the neighborhood you lived in?
Very poor. And the rats would urinate in the in the drains and in the backyard where we'd play. And I think I contacted it that way. And that put me in a coma for a few months and then a loss of memory for quite a few years after.
What started... so you wake up basically and there's family and people around you and you literally don't know who they are.
You don't know who anybody is. You don't know your own name. You cannot even speak. You think you're communicating and you're completely terrified.
Did you have to be taught who they were? Did it come back to you?
Yeah, no.
It doesn't come back.
Very, very slowly, just bits and pieces. Wow. And that's the title, Anger is an Energy, was the doctors were told to keep me in they told my parents to keep me in a state of anger and that might promote
how do they do
memory.
that?
Well, just by being cold, I suppose, and indifferent and, and not letting me run for the sympathy bubble or the safe ride or self-pity. And that constant state of agitation, I mean, that's 4 years in the making. Yes, Johnny is a very angry
boy.
Fella indeed. It leaves a lasting impression, but I'll tell you, the greatest thing of it is, which is why people think I'm awkward to work with, is that I absolutely depend on the truth. And I needed it then, and I need it still in my adulthood. Because you've got nothing else. You've got no memory. You have to believe what people are telling you.
You have no choice.
No choice.
Did you know something? Like, did you know, okay, I forgot things or I can't remember? Or was it just foreign and you're like, the whole world has gone crazy?
No belief system at all. No hope, really. As I mean, even in the hospital, the doctors and nurses would say, well, you must come from somewhere. duh. I thought I was just an institution baby, I suppose. And I've always got these feelings, for orphans. I feel really, really sad for orphans, because that's what being an orphan must be like.
You lived it a little bit, technically.
Yeah. Not belonging to anybody.
And were they understanding through the whole thing and just kind of patient with you, or?
Well, I must have been. I mean, it's terrible when it does come back to you. It comes back in little bits and pieces, the guilt you feel.
What was the guilt about?
What was it me that, did wrong here and forgot them? And it caused a big fraction between me and my father, because he always thought that I blamed him for it, and I always thought he blamed me. It took us years and years and years later before we became friends.
And you felt guilt over having forgotten them or not remembering your parents?
Oh, yeah. Much worse than any of that nonsense Catholic guilt you hear about. That stuff pales into insignificance in comparison.
What was it that got you and your dad back together? Or on the same page, I guess?
Very slowly, very slowly. He'd try things like getting me to repair cars on the weekends with him and things. I have no mechanical aptitude whatsoever. So if anything, that just drove us apart.
Yeah. That was his thing?
And plus, weekends. I mean, what kid wants to be stuck underneath an engine?
No one.
Particularly with a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
Right, trying to
I was being used for, bits of mechanicry.
So you get the meningitis at 7. At what age did you
Got out of hospital at 8, and...
When did you start feeling like, oh, this is me? Again?
Oh, about 11. 12.
No kidding.
Yeah, really. Yeah, even when, see, in Britain you go to a secondary school at 11, and even then I wasn't quite sure who I was, but it was much better, because all the kids were new, everybody was new to each other, so that was like a real proper fresh start, because the school I went back to, I mean at 8 they chucked you straight back to school. It's a Catholic school run by nuns and priests, and they were savage. It just made it very, very, very difficult to gain any momentum. But so I spent most of my spare time in the libraries learning to read and write again.
So your teachers didn't know what had happened to you, or they just didn't give a shit?
They did, but the nuns would love to call me Dummy Dum Dum, and that transferred to the rest of the kids. So
the nuns called you that?
Oh, yeah.
I've heard the stories of the nuns over the years. I was the sign of
the devil to them. I had,
You were lefty too, right?
And a lefty, all right? And being left-handed, that's just unacceptable. See, I mean, I could read and write at 4 or 5, right? When I started primary school, but I was left-handed, so then I was shoved to the back. And then at 7, I got this illness. And when my memory was coming back and relearning to read and write, I was left-handed again. They were unhappy with that.
So my father's a lefty, and he said when he went to school, the nuns, they beat you and they made you write right-handed.
Yeah.
So now you still write righty or no?
Yeah, well, I'm a resistant fella. I mean, got reputation for it. So, this is what I do. I write with my left hand. It's impossible to write with the right.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. What they do is they use a ruler, a measuring stick, I suppose you'd call it, but the sharp edge. And they'd really, really severely bash you with that, so that your hand would hurt so much you wouldn't use it.
Did you turn your back on religion?
I don't think I ever turned my front to it.
Oh, you never... So you were forced...
At any point.
So you were forced into the Catholic school system.
I think all kids are forced into the religion of their parents.
Right. But not go to school.
I'm all for studying all kinds of religions and then letting the individual pick their own.
Yeah.
If they so
I think that's
are
a smart thing to do, to at least study a whole bunch and then decide, maybe there's something better out there, or maybe none of these make sense on any level.
I would go for the none of them option myself.
Mm-hmm.
Something else
I don't like the word atheism because it just sounds peculiar. It sounds almost medical.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But there is no God except what we are. This is it. All heaven is life on earth. And with that way of thinking, tends to make people like me non-violent because we love life.
Right.
Well, that was reminding me.
This is it.
You had a
This
quote
is it.
Conan asked you after Kurt Cobain killed himself. I think you were on Conan right after that.
Yeah, we didn't get on too well.
And there was...
Well, you kept pulling that like Irish malarkey with me, you know. I don't view myself as any one particular nation.
You gave a surprising quote, though, that when he asked you about Kurt and you expected something, and you said something about how he didn't respect being alive.
Yeah, well, the drugs, you see, yeah. The drugs. For me, drugs are recreational. That's all well and fine, and I wouldn't ever ban anything from anyone. Let do what you want, you know. But some people have a penchant for hiding behind drugs. And heroin is a very, very significant factor in that. It covers up all manner of self-pity and insecurity. And there's no way of helping them because there's this industry, the music business, wrapped around it and glossing it over as being trendy and relevant. And it's not. It's destructive.
Did you ever try it?
I read a book about it. I think I've tried everything.
Yeah. It wasn't your thing, though, obviously.
Look at me, I'm the kind of fella that, you know, all right then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it ain't for me. I don't like anything that will bring me down in any way at all.
Okay.
I mean, to this day, I'm still bothered about falling asleep at night. You know, because you got that naggy thing back there in the back of your head thinking, whoa, what if I wake up and don't know who I am again? That's not a great feeling.
That still scares you to this day?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's the loneliest feeling in the world.
Did you ever write things down or do something that would, like, you know, would it be easier to remember now? Or do you do something
Yeah, but
psychologically?
you wouldn't remember that you wrote that. It would have no relevance to you at all.
All right.
I know there's a great couple of films out.
Memento?
About that kind of thing.
Memento is great.
Yeah.
He's writing on his hand, I think, for the whole thing. 'Cause he's forgetting.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's a wonderful
But
film.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, sure. Of course. When did you start your music? At what age?
Well, most of my childhood, well, there was of it, I spent avoiding the choir because that meant the priest would have access to you. Oh, yeah. All of this going on and priests.
Really?
You knew.
I knew. We all knew.
Really?
Did you know?
Yeah,
did you know some of?
absolutely.
Did you know of some of the incident? I don't know. Some of the other boys.
Yeah,
or-
there were, but you couldn't talk about it.
You just didn't talk
that
about
would be
it.
the hammering of your life to tell anybody.
So
Your parents would hate, loathe, and despise you because that's a man of God. You know, that's the institution.
Crazy.
Of it. No way out for the kids.
So you knew kids that were molested,
So
basically.
you make yourself as ugly and as tone deaf as possible. And from that to the Sex Pistols.
Hey, you said in an interview, I think in the 70s, that you knew Jimmy
never
Jimmy
brush my
Savile
teeth.
or Savile.
Oh, yes, he was a BBC DJ. I didn't know him, but I knew of him.
He
And
was
the
a big
rumour,
pedo.
all us kids knew. We all knew what was going on with that lot. The BBC was really harbouring quite a few child molesters. And I just happened to have been witty enough to mention it one day, and well, that didn't help my career none.
In the 70s, when this guy was revered, and no one would have said that.
Well, no, I was not revered. I mean, I was more infamous than famous.
No, I mean Jimmy Savile was revered.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's God's blessing to the universe.
And the stuff he did is brutal.
Yeah, he was a really bad.
Oh, yeah.
He was a real fucking creep.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
and
all creeps,
relentless
but
with it, you know, and just point this out, and I'm not taken serious or not wanting to be taken serious. It's the same with priests and all of it, and I've had a word to say about every single one of these things.
good for you.
You weren't surprised at all then when that stuff came out about him after he died. You
I'm surprised it took so long, and that's the shame. That's the real crime, because the list is really extensive.
Yes, it is.
And
Yes,
then
it
this
is.
one particular fella, Jimmy Savile, he had a reputation for visiting the morgues. He quite liked to play with dead bodies too.
Wow, what a
And
goal.
they let that slide for years. People knew. Enough people knew, probably.
Yeah, I think I heard that they knew he was a pedo. They
Yeah.
kind of.
I heard the morgue stuff, too.
That goes beyond pedophile, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, the dead stuff does. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Stinky old carcasses.
Oh, my God. Why would you? So
well, that's power, you see. Power utterly corrupts. And if you can get away with it in one way, then you're going to go off into other areas.
Yeah. So
he was experimenting.
Yeah.
You blew off the choir, but when did you really find music?
Well, the opportunity to join the band. I mean, they liked the way I dressed. They liked my I Hate Pink Floyd T-shirt. And
that was pretty
the fact
brave
that
for the
I
day.
couldn't sing, or I spent so many years making damn well sure I couldn't, was neither here nor there.
Right.
Great. Perfect opportunity.
So you really didn't do anything else before that?
No.
That's pretty amazing.
No,
And Sid didn't play bass before that.
I buy a lot of music. I'm an avid record collector, and vinyl to me is treasure trove stuff.
Who did you like growing up? Anyone we would know?
Anything on vinyl. If it's spun on a turntable, I was thrilled.
Bowie?
Yeah, he'd do.
You do. Just do.
Yeah.
Who were some of your
He'd do as much as Matt Monroe or anybody else.
Matt.
You know,
Reggae?
my taste is extensive.
Sure.
It's not limited.
Gotcha.
And you didn't sing, and I believe Sid didn't let me teach him to play bass.
I tried.
Try to?
Yeah, but I mean, one afternoon, Lemmy obviously jealous that Sid Vicious might turn into a really good bass player.
So he taught him
there's
badly.
an angle in there.
Yeah, okay.
You don't write things down when you sing. I was amazed to read. You said like your mind, you works like a library. Like when you're coming out with something, you're not writing down the lyrics. You're kind of just.
Yeah, I like to do it live in one take if I can, and then if I make mistakes, I'll go back at it. But there are times where I'll write extensively. I always keep a notepad and pen by the side of the bed. So in a way, yeah, it is a bit like Memento, if you think about it. That's a very uncomfortable film, by the way, for me to watch.
Oh, yeah, it's uncomfortable for me to watch, and I didn't even have that issue. There's just something about knowing you're losing your memory, and you have to write things down, and will it mean anything the next day? And
Yep. Ain't great. Well, it tells you, what is a personality?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question.
When you guys...
well, for me, my childhood, I spent trying to find out and remember who I was. And then I did remember, but it's like I had this long period where I was on the outside looking in at myself.
I can't even imagine that.
So, when I hear people yak on about being bipolar, it's like, you don't know what you're saying, mateys.
You wish that's all you had, right?
You wish.
I mean, you personally. You would have probably dealt with that better, I'm assuming. I don't know.
I'm here, aren't I? So you know what I mean?
You're doing great, Johnny Rotten.
Happy. Because that stuff was a blessing.
Right.
All right? It gave me the wit and the smarts to do what I do today. And I love what I do. I got the opportunity to make music, and I love it.
Do you think if that didn't happen, you wouldn't have the personality you have today?
That's the issue, really, isn't it? To come to grips with. I mean, I'd like to think conceitedly that of course I would, don't be silly, but I don't know. I mean, it gives you a great suit of armour in which to face the world with.
Right.
So maybe not. I mean, hindsight does me no good.
Because of the way your parents treated you, and you had to learn to deal with that.
But they explained that to me later.
When did they do? When you were a teenager?
Oh, about 11, 12.
Okay.
That's when I was really coming out of it.
Right.
And like I said earlier, the secondary school, because you go to secondary school in England, that helped too, the complete change of environment.
Did they tell you what kind of kid you were before it happened?
It was a good initial clearance sale, right? But I emptied the store, and now I've brought in some really important stuff where I analyse everything I do, everything I feel, and everything that I think the people around me are feeling. And that can be very painful when you're writing songs about the death of your mother, like a song called Death Disco. And then my father died a couple of years ago, and that made that song even more painful live. I burst into tears in songs, yelling, screaming fits of rage and temper and agony and all of it, and joy and happiness. And that's fantastic. What a great lucky chappie I am to be in a position to be able to do that.
How do you
and
feel?
not pay a psychiatrist.
How do you feel about the influence you've had on music? Because you're considered one of the most, for such a short period of time, a 3-year, 2.5-year run, the Sex Pistols are considered one of the most influential groups. Do you like the people that you've influenced or what you've seen come after you guys, or do you like some and hate some?
Public Image has been a much longer running band and I think has the bigger influence. Yeah, I mean, the influence is out there. But what annoys me, though, a lot is I'm striving so hard in my life to be myself, to be an individual, because that's very, very important to me. Is to see people copying me. That's unacceptable. It really, really sends me into a rage. It's such a stupid, sad waste of their life. Don't try to be anybody else. Be yourself. And then you've got my interest.
But don't sometimes people have to define themselves? They see
through others, yeah.
Yeah, through others.
There is that.
Where it's like you help them.
Well, the image making of pop music creates that, doesn't it? And it's almost a slave mentality if you really think about it. No, I don't. I think it's all unhealthy, and so there you go. That's why I'm a very difficult pop star.
You called anarchy in an interview. This was one of the most fascinating things. You said that you think anarchy is a mind game for the middle classes.
Yeah.
What did you like? Do you not like the idea of anarchy? Is that like something you changed your opinion about?
No.
Or?
Listen, I used the thing intelligently in a song. I don't believe in anarchy as a tour de force politically. Just wrecking things for the sake of it isn't very constructive. What are you going to offer to replace it? I mean, you've seen Mad Max. That ain't no great future.
Well, we're seeing it now in Baltimore.
Yeah.
They're burning, they're burning their neighborhoods down.
That ain't the clever moves.
I don't think it is.
I can't discuss the Baltimore thing, by the way, because I don't know too much about it.
Well, and people say we shouldn't discuss it because we're white. You get that a lot on Twitter. You just don't understand. And maybe in a way I don't understand. Because I don't understand burning down your whole neighborhood and how that's going to,
voice over the radio has no colour.
Yeah, get change going. I don't know, So maybe I don't understand.
Well, there are issues that do need to be resolved in this country.
Of course.
Seriously, and it is unfair.
But are we going to get to that by moving a CVS and burning down
I mean, I've just got my American passport. I became an American citizen, so...
Congratulations.
And Baltimore unfolds.
Yeah. Yeah, but now you can say whatever you want about the country and people can't say, you don't even live here. You can go, yes, I do.
Go back to where you're from.
No, that's 3 passports now I've carried. I've got a lot to say about all 3 now.
Do you think music has an edge these days?
It's very difficult, isn't it? The record stores closing down. There's distribution of music, so it's very difficult to find anything new. There's no real backing because the record label's folded. It's become very dissipated. It's become an internet hobby, really.
I'm sure you're not happy that people just steal music.
No,
and don't pay for it.
About that. I don't like the idea of being able to steal anything off anybody.
Yeah. But some of the bands are finding workarounds with, performing
the trouble
more.
Is, you see the Grammys, right?
Yep.
It's the same 7 to 10 acts now.
Over and over again.
Right? It's pretty damn relentless Las Vegas review. And when I see, I don't watch it anymore because it's like being trapped on a cruise ship. No escape.
I want to plug the book, too, because it's really, really excellent. And it's called Anger is an Energy, My Life Uncensored. It's in stores and on Amazon now. And there is a book signing and a talk tonight here in New York at Strand Books. So you can go to strandbooks.com, I guess, and get the information on where. Do you know where the bookstore is offhand? I don't know where it is.
No, but if you listen, you'll hear me because I certainly can talk.
Good for you.
Yeah, so good. But it's a rare opportunity to hear like a talk from you about the book you've written.
But I like that. See, to me, that's the way gigs are too. That's how I see it. It's like a performance thing. It's just stand up and tell the truth and share that with a lot of people.
Was there anything that you came across in the book that you didn't want to address? That you did anyway, but that
just
was...
about everything.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't want to deal with it?
Didn't want to do it, really.
So who twisted your arm? And how did they...
Forced myself into it.
Oh, okay.
I wanted this to be known. There's a point where you get sick of people bad-mouthing you out of total ignorance. and you want to address that issue. And now you know why I make decisions I make.
It's all in the book.
It's all in a book.
So that was the deciding factor. You're like, wait, I can finally tell my side of this.
Here's the
once and for all.
The bad mouthers fully deserved.
You made also a great point about censorship, too. You said a lot of I've watched a lot of your interviews, and you said it comes down from people who aren't prepared to analyze themselves.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So what do you think, that when someone is censoring something else, it's because they're hearing something that they don't want to have to process?
They're shy of something in their own psyche that they can't fess up to or admit or be realistic or live with. Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is why you get this senator's banning certain sexual aspects, shall we say. We know damn well that's what they're doing in the back of a limo anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, at least the fun ones are. Yeah.
There was the fun ones are the ones that got caught.
What was the rumor? It's obviously ridiculous. I was surprised to hear there was a rumor that you and Sid had an affair. And it's like, but you know what I mean? Like, how does that something like that?
That would be punk rock.
But how does that something like that get started?
That's hate again, and jealousy and rumour mongering. The story in itself is crazy enough without adding wackola like that to it. That's
Do you think that was something?
You see, all my friends, it's not like that. All my friends, we're all oddballs too. And none of us fit properly into society. And why should we? Because as far as I'm concerned now, and I'm getting on a bit. I'm only half a century young, but I think it's society that's wrong and not the rest of us oddballs.
How was your relationship with Sid?
Very, very close friend.
Nice.
Very, very good humour.
Yeah.
Innocent character. A bit wrong of me, really, to bring him into the band because he was mentally ill-equipped to deal with that. But then again, at the same time, maybe I was too, but...
It worked.
This is the thing in life, you sink or swim. But,
right.
You felt guilt over that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, look, he ended up like, the way he did. Terrible. Accused of murder and heroin overdoses all over the place. But he stood not much of a chance, as it happens in life. His mother was a registered addict. And his father was allegedly a Grenadier Guard. Perfect inspiration for God Save the Queen.
What would it be like when you went to his house? I know you guys met as teenagers and you'd go over and spend time at his house.
No, his mother was very cold to his friends, yeah.
Why?
She was very warm to Sid, but very cold to him having any friends at all.
What was that about?
I don't know. It was a weird relationship. None of his mates could figure it out at all. It was almost like he was like a pet kitten to her. Very, very strange.
She would feed Sid.
And she had no friends at all.
So she just wanted to be left alone and probably didn't like other people being in the house.
But she wouldn't even offer them water or like his friends would come over and watch him eat and like never once said, "Dude, would you like something to drink?" Or just...
Yeah. It was a very strange house, Sid. There was no furniture ever.
No furniture?
Just a couple of mattresses and that.
Laid about.
Huh. But very neat.
Strange.
Neat but empty.
Yeah.
Was there a lot
maybe that's the problem with it all. Emotionally empty. So I grew up with clutter.
And you think the mob did Nancy in?
I don't know.
You don't know, but it's one theory?
I've gone to get all these rumours. I mean, we just dealt with one rumour.
Yeah.
I mean, what am I going to do? Accuse the mafia of what? I mean, haven't they got better things to do?
Right.
Yeah.
Deal with someone owes a couple $100 in that scuzzball hotel. Whose name I daren't mention in case they sue me.
That's funny. Even the Sex Pistols have to worry about lawyers.
How did you come up with the name Sex Pistols?
I didn't.
Not you.
Oh.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It's mostly from Malcolm's contrivance, the manager.
Yeah.
It was a ridiculous name that nobody liked, but I liked it because it was completely absurd. Right. It was a name that I thought at the time would never, ever, ever bring success.
Really?
None of us ever thought this band would ever have amounted to anything at all. And so because of that complete lack of faith in it, probably why it made it so enduring.
What was your goal at first as a band? Just to get together and have a good time?
Have fun.
And then when did you realize, oh my God, this is going to work? And how did you feel at that time?
Police raids didn't help.
But was there a moment where you realized
the legal attention and the negativity in the press and the out-and-out hatred that the media was stirring up? It became really seriously violent. There's several knife attacks and things like that.
So it was a crazy 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Insane.
Most amazingly of all for me was to be discussed in Parliament under the Traitors and Treasons Act.
Was that after God Saves the Queen?
Yeah, which carried the death penalty. So that's what punk rock can get you, mate.
Were you scared?
No, I loved it.
You were never scared?
Second of it. Because at that point I knew.
Yeah.
I knew I had them. They couldn't murder you for speaking your mind. That would be the end of democracy. I won.
So you were in a good spot.
Yeah, and that's why I'm king of the punks.
Do you have a soft side? Like when you're
I've just explained my soft side for over half an hour.
Yeah, true, but I mean, I guess what I mean, like a hobby or something that no one would expect that you do, just like so different than your personal persona.
I'm not what you could call a pet shop boy.
There was so much of that stuff, though, in the book. So much about the other side, liking glam rock, and just all these things that no one would expect, if you just see you as Johnny Rotten.
Good on you, sir. You really read it.
Yeah, I did read the whole thing, but what I read I loved, because my reading habits have gotten very, very bad since my phone. I can't stop sending pictures of my dick to girls, so it's very hard for me to read for any length of time. But I loved your book.
There's so many dick pictures now going around on these cell phones. I mean, you could lose your own if you're not careful.
Are you amazed by the technology? Where everything is on your phone now?
I think more horrified.
Horrified.
I don't like it. I
You
don't like it, and I think it's dissipating. And human beings are beginning to not start to communicate with each other any longer.
You go to a restaurant.
Say, listen, I do a gig, and half the audience are holding their cell phones up. That drives me nuts.
Yeah.
It's like, what is more important?
Well, I'll hold it up for like my favorite song. Is that all right?
I'm not holding anything up.
I'm going to hold it up for like maybe 1 or 2 songs. I still get to see it. I still get to see 15, 18 songs.
Almost 10 minutes.
Out of an hour and a half show, that's not bad.
You should video. Take a photo.
But are the memories, though, like, I'm surprised you don't feel that way, because for you...
No, for me, the memories are all here in the head.
But you don't want to watch them?
Yeah, no, that's meaningless. No. If my memories became that, then I'd have no memory at all.
Plus, when you see...
And I fought so hard to gain my memory back when I was young. I'm certainly not going to transport it away electronically.
Mm-hmm. All right, they're saying you got to go, but...
No, I do things for reasons,
Right.
It's not just willy-nilly, now I hate it.
And you also liked disco. And again, another great quote. Whoever wrote the punk manifesto wasn't listening to the punks.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you think that people have this impression of who you guys are?
But it's people that came after us and they decided they liked certain aspects of our clothing, and therefore that's what punks should wear. I mean, that's the kiss of death to any movement. Once it adopts a uniform, well, then you might as well join the army, because they make much better uniforms.
Who you guys are.
But it's people that came after us and they decided they liked certain aspects of our clothing, and therefore that's what punks should wear. I mean, that's the kiss of death to any movement. Once it adopts a uniform, well, then you might as well join the army, because they make much better uniforms.
Well, couldn't your clothes... You got to know a lot of... You worked at a store called Sex, which is a pretty legendary... I guess you were there for 2 weeks, and Sid was there for a while. And she would make all of your clothes and your...
Yeah, if you paid through the nose for it. Never got nothing for nothing off them.
But couldn't you not wash them because it'd fall apart?
Well, I mean, most of that bondage gear, it's leather with studs and rubber T-shirts. It can be pretty damn painfully crippling to get on and off. And washing it really don't come into it.
Oh, man, imagine what a leather shirt smells like.
Savor. Wow. Like a fine gravy.
Wow, Stains to Savor. That's a great name for a book, too, if you write another one. Let me just get the title of the book and where they're at.
Anger is an Energy, My Life Uncensored, John Lydon.
The Strand bookstore is at 828 Broadway, which is right there at 12th and 13th Street. Broadway between 12th and 13th Street.
7 p.m. And John is doing a talk as well as you can buy the book. It's a signing, but it's a really rare opportunity. It's a very personal thing to be this close without you actually doing music but talking.
Well, at the same time I did this book, I was putting together a new album for Public Image, and so that's quite a workload I took on there. But I'm very proud of the two things. They cross in certain points and places. The album's going to be called What the World Needs Now, ... and you fill in what you think the world needs. Kind of very appropriate if you consider the times we live in.
What do you think the world needs? Like, if you had to fill in those dots, what would you say?
Me.
More me.
You're a fascinating guy, and I love the book, and I'm happy that you wrote it, and I'm happy you came here.
Johnny Rotten, everyone.
Well, peace, and if you don't like it, peace off.
You can say fuck off. It's that way.
No, no need for that salty language.
All right, I just want to make sure if you wanted to, you can say fuck off.
Vocabulary, and I don't see why I should limit it to cliches.
Home run Lydon.
I think we're done, too.
We're done for the day, too.
We got guys waiting outside the studio. I guess they really are going to remodel this place starting immediately. So we're still doing radio. We're just going to do it from another studio the next couple weeks.
Or is it the other way around?
He covered up after he said that. Bob Kelly, thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
Bobby's going to be on Louie tonight, and make sure you watch the episode. He's in the whole damn episode. It's a really good one. And you're going to be at Laugh Boston May 14th through the 16th.
Yes, sir.
Jimmy's leaving now to go to Rochester for the weekend.
Right,
He's got one show tonight, 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. So go see Jim Norton in Rochester, New York. I might jump on a plane and join Jimmy and Kenny and Brother Louie's up there. I'm trying to figure that shit out. All right, these guys got to get in here and start destroying this place. Nice. We're going to have a new studio in the next couple of weeks.
Well, Dan is, but...
All right.
I'll tell you what, he could change in this.
I'm kidding. I heard a couple of things.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're awful.
Big J's name floating around.
Floating around a little bit.
Floating around.
Yeah, they're all awful.
But we will have live shows next week, just from somewhere else. But that doesn't matter to you because you don't see where we are.
They shouldn't have said nothing.
Yeah, true. It doesn't matter to them.
No.
There you go.
Once again, Johnny Ron, thank you, sir.
Thanks, John.
for
Come back
having
and
me.
see us, all right?
Yes, I must say it's
Next time you got to play some music.
Watching the demise of Sirius Radio.
You got to play some music next time. Do something a little different. All right, guys. We'll see you Monday. Thanks.
Today's show will be available later today on Sirius XM On Demand. Sirius XM On Demand. Stick around. The after show is up next.
Where can you get a Mother's Day gift for your mom, aunt, sister, or significant other that will last a lifetime? Steven Singer Jewelers. Steven Singer Jewelers has exclusive gifts only available through their store that last forever, just like the love you have for your mom. Steven has exclusive necklace designs. He's talking about the I Love You Mommy silver and diamond necklace collection in 8 variations starting at just $149. This beautiful necklace showcases a sparkling diamond for each child. His choice for mom are so appropriate, so exclusive, and priced so low. You'll definitely end up buying more, which is almost a reason to hate Steven Singer. Don't mess this up. Give mom a gift that will last a lifetime, whether she has 1 child or 8. They have the perfect necklace for her at the perfect price. That's right. Visit Steven Singer at the other corner of 8th and Walnut down there in Philly. You could call him at 888-I-HATE-STEVEN-SINGER or shop online at IHateStevenSinger.com. Do that today, please. Steven Singer is going to make your Mother's Day shopping very easy. Steven Singer Jewelers. One place, one price. IHateStevenSinger.com.
And now, a word from the legendary comedy troupe, The Kids in the Hall.
My name is
Scott Thompson from Kids in the Hall.
Actor-comedian Kevin McDonald.
Bruce McCullough. Wiki. Mark McKinney. We're kicking off our U.S. tour, and all weekend long, we're playing our favorite comedians. Bits from our shows and Kids in the Hall interviews you won't hear anywhere.
It kicks off with a new Unmasked with Ron Bennington and all the Kids in the Hall. Friday, 2 p.m. East.
It's a Kids in the Hall weekend on Raw Dog Comedy Hits. It's going to be laugh-tastic.
Every summer on SiriusXM, Hollywood's most anticipated blockbusters are on Entertainment Weekly Radio's Summer Movie Preview. Superheroes like The Avengers.
Artificial intelligence.
Sci-fi sequels like Jurassic World.
We have a new attraction.
And the most epic movies of the year like Terminator Genesis.
I'll be back.
The Summer Movie Preview tomorrow, 1 p.m. East, 10 a.m. West on Entertainment Weekly Radio, SiriusXM 105, or listen on the SiriusXM app.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Lou is one of you, and make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-239-1749.